Okay, in the previous tutorial we added an empty item to our list of grouped items now, and we also added to our global variables a child variable in our items database here. We added the pick child variable to each one, and we filled that with the corresponding picture that we want to use. That's going to be important now, because now we're going to start trying to actually get the corresponding picture to show up for whatever Bob is holding as inventory. So let's toggle. Let's actually just delete it. And here's what we're going to do. We don't need to make a whole new external event, right? Because with inventory check, and let's click this button here to bring that up. With inventory check, we already have our slots separated nicely, and we're already creating the text objects. So let's just add to this one here, okay? Now, when there's nothing there in Bob's inventory, right, isFilled equals 0, we still want to create an empty slot, an empty picture, excuse me. And the reason we want to do that is more for, not the beginning here, right, of our game, but it's more for when we need to recheck this, and this variable will come into play eventually. When we recheck this and Bob now has an empty slot because we deleted it, we want to fill that space where there was an object with our empty one now. So let's do that. Let's add an action. And this one's pretty simple because we know it's always going to be this same object. Let's create an object from its name, because we're going to be doing that anyway now. Let's go to our grouping here. And the text that we want to represent is, we want the empty picture here, right? So let's do variables, text of a global variable, and we want item 0 pick. So where is it? Where's item? Item 0 dot pick, which we hard coded to be empty. And the X position is similar to what we've been doing. Object, whoops, sorry, position I mean. And first we need the X position of our inventory container. Okay, let's copy this and paste it down here and change this to Y. And then we need to add our coordinates that we created for our picture slot 1. So variable, value of a global variable. Menus, inventory. Here it is, slot 1 dot pick, not the text. Remember, that was for our text object. This is for our pick object. We need pick X. Let's go ahead and highlight this now and add it here and change this to pick Y. The layer is inventory, right? And we need to add a Z order here as well so that it shows up. And remember, our Z order needs to be higher than our inventory container. And our inventory container is, I believe, still 507. So let's do common actions, Z order. We know it's the empty item. Whoops, actually, let's just do, here we can just pick the item, it's just kind of easier. The empty item, and let's make it 520, let's start at 520. Okay. We can essentially fill in this same thing for each 1. So here's what I mean by that. In other words, slot 2 empty is going to be the same thing, basically, except we just need to change these two slot. Oh, I messed up already. Let me hit Control Z. There we go. I need to go down here. So let's copy this again because it's empty. Slot 2 empty is going to have the same thing, excuse me. Z order. Let's change this to slot 2. Hit OK. Let's go to slot 3 and alter that empty one. And all this is doing is saying if the slot in Bob's inventory is empty, use the empty pick, the empty one that we created to fill that spot. Hit OK, let's get our Z order. And we don't have to change the Z order here. As long as it's just above our inventory, that's fine. Let's go to slot 4. Again, make sure you're in the empty field and change this to slot 4. And last one is slot 5. And let's get the Z order for these last two. I forgot. Let's copy, paste, and let's paste down here. Okay, now it should be that when the slot of Bob's inventory is empty, it just creates an empty picture there. Let's see what happens, right? Because right now, this was the last time we did our preview. These slots were full. Let's get rid of that and do a brand new preview here. Okay, it's empty. That's actually fine. No big deal. All right, we haven't coded yet the health potion or anything. We're going to do that in the next tutorial.